Episode 40B of Creepypasta Narrations. Kingdom Hearts The Other Mix, Chapter 2, The Figure. The previous chapter, and the chapter next, Exodus, are all done by Scourge the Hedgehog. Same content warnings as mentioned before. The scary cryptic opening starts to weird me out rather than scare me. But it turns out that it was just a warm-up compared to what I saw next. The character select screen, where you choose between Terra, Ventus, and Aqua in the actual game, comes up. The music normally heard in this little sequence is distorted, practically demonic, with its low pitch and treble. Instead of a typical scene, the awakening floor, or where the three usually stand, is cracked into three pieces, each of the three on their own piece. The background surrounding the awakening is a purple hue instead of the normally serene black. I then see Terra, Ventus, and Aqua, but I see the three impaled on what looks like sparks of darkness jutting out from the cracks in the awakening. The spikes piercing through their bodies and coming out of their chests in a very graphic manner. From what I could see, blood was dripping from the corpses impaled on the spikes onto the pieces they were on. The blood falling into the bottomless abyss below. My eyes opened and in half fear, half disgust. Since when did Kingdom Hearts have blood? But another more known question, since when did Kingdom Hearts contain sprites for blood in the first place? The option to select them comes up. Their picture logos show their eyes dripping tears of blood, while their skin is pale or gray. I scare real easy, so I began to breathe heavily. Whoever hacked this game had a very sick mind. While trying to keep my cool, I tried to select Aqua in the effort to test Sun's degree of normalcy. Like I expected, a message popped up. A victim of the void. I tried Terra and Ventus. 2 more messages popped. For Terra, the builder of the cradle. For Ventus, the wind pushing the cradle. The nursery rhyme messages serve to only scare me more. Nowadays, whenever somebody hears a nursery rhyme, it's usually in a horror movie. And it always signifies trouble. I moved to what appeared to be a fourth option. The scene zooms in on what appears to be a total shadow, their figure obscured from view. The shadow in question looks like it's using Terra's sprite model, but their body, face, and features are all black. As if it's trying to hide itself. Think like Anti-Sora from Kingdom Hearts 2. Only no color whatsoever. I select its option. And another message comes up. The wind is blowing continuously. Can he balance the cradle? A choice came up. This must be part of the warning. With a deep inhale, I choose yes. A light shines on the figure as an ear-deafening screech fills my ears. The scene zooming past the figure's face and into a loading screen. I don't know what that was, but this was just the beginning. At that moment, I find myself at the world map in the game. This was hacked too. The purple pinkish backgrounds usually present are now pitch black. And I could almost swear sprites resembling eyes were put there. Watching the map through the background textures, you know, where if you go to the edge of the map up in our pushback, those textures. The music that plays is like The Awakening, low-pitched and demonic. I seem to be in control of the figure shown in the select screen. His key glider sprite wasn't spared modification either. The figure seems to be running a bloody object. It looked like a cross to me at first, but once I moved a little, I saw what looked like wings flapping. I chose to ignore this and look around. I moved the figure to the left of the world map, where the Princess's Heart worlds were. The Mirage Arena was gone, instead replaced with what was made to look like a human eye. It looked bloodshot, and it kept itself trained on the figure whenever I moved it, as if it was poised to strike or something. My breathing became worse. What did this all mean? I didn't risk going near it and moved the figure downwards. The Princess World, Enchanted Domain, Castle Streams, and Dwarf Woodlands were all glitched. Their structures replaced with random binary data formed into the shape of the worlds themselves. I tried going near the Enchanted Dominion, but the figure was pushed away at the moment I had gone close enough, as if I had touched a barrier. Those worlds were disabled, obviously. I moved the figure away from this area and went to the other side of the map. Deep Space, Neverland, Destiny Town, and Olympus Coliseum were glitched up in the same way, and were also inaccessible. I moved to the southern part of the map. The mysterious tower and Lance's departure weren't even there. The only familiar world I saw was the Destiny Islands. I cautiously moved the figure towards the world. At that moment, a landing prompt came up. In the normal game, you can't land on the Destiny Islands. I honestly wanted to put the game down right now and just forget about all I've seen. But something inside me urged me on, as if somebody else were telling me to keep playing. I chose Visit This World from the landing prompt. This time, the game just faded to black like always. A loading screen popped up. I had calmed down a bit, but that comfort didn't last long. Once it loaded, I found the figure I was playing as standing by a wooden door on the island's right side. His features still hint despite the sunshine in the world sky. I was stunned. Since when was this world playable? As I examined the textures, they seemed off. The normal wooden textures that made the Disney Islands look tropical seemingly bled around into the other textures of the world, giving the place a distorted look. There was no music, though I thought I heard sobbing in the distance. The figure begins to walk around beyond my control. I tried to get him to stop, but I can't. So I sit and wait. The figure walks to the shores of the beach, just as two boys come running into the area. I soon see that they were Sora and Riku. They're young selves, just like in the original game. They were hacked too. Their clothes were bloody, as if they just come out of a desperate struggle. One of Riku's eyes were missing, an empty socket in the place of his left eye. Sora suffered from the same affliction, only with his right eye. The eyes that were working had bloody tears dripping from them, just like the pictures in the character selection screen. Their flesh looked mangled, almost zombie-like. The two immediately take out wooden swords and enter battle poses, intending to engage the figure in combat. Sora says something angrily, but all I hear are static and glitch sounds, and subtitles seem to be disabled, so I couldn't understand him at all. At this point, I was simply speechless. I didn't know what this meant, nor did I want to know. But I had to keep playing. I had to know what it was trying to tell me, or it would haunt me forever. The scene then zoomed onto Figure's back. The figure extends his right arm as a keyblade appears in his hand. With an insane chuckle, he finally turns around to face the camera. At that moment, the black color covering his features started to melt off of his body, bleeding into the textures of the islands, distorting them further. I knew who it was now. It was Xehanort, in Terra's body, just like in the original game. In reality, it was Terra, just with his eyes turned yellow and his hair turned white. But I knew who this was supposed to be. The keyblade in the figure's hand turned out to be Xehanort as well. Another dead giveaway as to the figure's identity. Another loading screen went by. Then the scene moves to the figure's back, as an information bar showing your current objectives hovered over the screen. I can't believe what it said. Kill them. At this point, I practically shot a brick. This was some freaky shit. As soon as I was in control of Xehanort, I noticed a few things. First off, the mugshot in the HP bar wasn't there, just like in the save file. Secondly, there was no D-Link or shot lock gauge for Xehanort to use. There was also no music playing in the background, just sobbing that seemed to grow louder with each passing minute. Finally, I had paused the game and saw one of the most haunting images I have ever seen in my life. On the pause screen was an image of a real-life man being torn in half by an odd-looking machine. His blood splattering all over the camera that took the photo. His face was contorted in agony, as the intestines that were falling out were visible in clear detail. I literally screamed bloody murder, throwing up where I was sitting at the moment I saw it. What kind of asshole would pass out filthy shit like this? In an effort to calm myself down, I took in a deep breath. I had seen enough of stuff that was not going to leave my mind any time soon. It was too late to turn back. I had to know why all this was made. I unpaused the game to find myself playing as Xehanort again. Sora and Riku began to advance. I had Xehanort running up to Sora, attacking him with a normal 3-hit combo. Xehanort played just like Terra, so I knew his strengths and weaknesses. Sora could barely fight, so he was no challenge. I noticed that as I attacked Sora, the sky started changing color. Once I had depleted Sora's hit points to 0, the sky was blood red. The scene zooms in for a reaction sequence. Sora tries to attack one last time, but as he jumps into the air to attack from above, Xehanort aims his hand at Sora. The game prompted me to constantly press X. I do so to see Xehanort's hand charging up dark energies. The prompt disappears as Xehanort releases a spike of darkness that stabs through Sora's chest and out of his other side. The scene zooms in on Sora's face as he says, "The bow is breaking, Andrew. Are you strong enough?" I was sweating now. How did Sora know my name? How did the hacker know my name? At that moment, Sora's body explodes in a shower thread as his blood and entrails fall onto the ground. Xehanort turns to engage Riku. Riku stops short and exits out of combat stance. He looks at Xehanort with what seemed to be pity. Then he turns and looks at me directly. "The cradle will fall and deteriorate everything," Riku says. "If to me, all you know will cease to exist. And so will you." My hands were literally shaking right now. I was starting to get the feeling that this was no hack at all. It was something worse. "But don't worry," Riku says as he turns his wooden sword upon himself, preparing to stab. Riku does so as his sword runs him through, blood gushing from his body as he falls to his knees. "You'll get to see a glimpse of the void before you fall." With a death moan, Riku finally lands on the sands of Destiny Island lifelessly.